Hello there, and welcome to the School Library Association's Books Across the Curriculum series. My name's Hazel, and this webinar will be looking at books aimed at primary school level that support the topics of celebration, festivals that are coming up over the next year. So, starting with this really lovely book that covers so many different celebrations, and this book brings together the food from the festivals throughout the year. World Kitchen Celebrations is by Abigail Wheatley and Chaya Prabhat. Whether they're from Ramadan or Passover for a national day or a birthday or just a big family get together, all the recipes are simple, heartfelt, and delicious, and the families and the simple step-by-step instructions are illustrated in a bold graphic novel style. From Nigerian party rice to US Halloween cookies, each recipe brings authentic international cuisines, traditions, and stories to your table. Also featuring fascinating facts about regional festive traditions and ingredients. All the recipes are vegetarian, but also it has instructions included to make them vegan, nut-free, dairy-free, egg-free, or gluten-free, or any combination of these. I find recipe books a really fun way of engaging pupils, especially in the primary school, bringing together different types as well, but also opportunities for them to create something from what they're reading. This feeds the minds and the bellies. Moving on to short chapter book that might look familiar to you. I'm sure you already have a few pupils who enjoy this series already. Isadora Moon and the Frost Festival by Harriet Muncaster. It's a huge celebration of midwinter. There's ice skating, fairground rides, gingerbread houses, and lots of delicious fairy hot chocolate. It's magical, but in the hustle and bustle, Isadora gets separated from both her family and Pink Rabbit. Can she find them before the grand fairy lights are switched on? It's a really lovely way to look at celebrations that were part of our history. The frost festivals that were held on the River Thames when it used to completely freeze over created an icy wonderland. The last one was held in 1814 and lasted for 4 days. I think this is a really lovely starting point to start looking at those parts of history and maybe recreating something like that in your classroom. Isadora Moon heads a delightful early chapter book for young readers, aimed at the end of Key Stage 1, Lower Key Stage 2, and part of a popular series. The main character is a daughter of a fairy and a vampire, so an excellent and fun imaginative story for the second half of the autumn term. Next, we come to Hanukkah. 8 nights and 8 lights is a wonderful way to look at how different homes celebrate this time of year. The Festival of Lights is drawing near. It's a fun time for songs and prayer, delicious food and friendship, fun and family. It's a time to be together and bring lights to the darkness. Celebrate each night of Hanukkah with 8 different families and learn about the rituals and traditions that make up this wonderful holiday. A lovely starting point for the different activities and games played throughout this book. There's also a lot you could bring parts of this book to life with your pupils. Aimed at I'd say early years key stage 1, but also it has quite packed with information as well, so it could be used throughout upper key stage 1 too. Yeah, really lovely book, food, friendship, and covers religion too. As we head towards Christmas, I had to show this book, Mr. Santa. I adore this one. And I'm sure that many of our favourite teachers will find that their favorite Jarvis bringing out a book is, of course, very appealing. We have Mr. Santa. It's a simply worded picture book told with a child's voice, full of humor, tenderness, and cheekiness. When the little girl comes face to face with Santa in her home, she can hardly believe it. It's a golden opportunity to ask him the questions, all the many questions that she's been desperate to know. Can Santa eat clouds? Does he stop at traffic lights? And is his belly button an innie or an outie? With the signature warmth and visual humour that Jarvis channels the excitement and joy of every child who has dreamed of meeting this lovable guy who personifies the most magical night of the year. So this is a story can be read time and time again. And also it starts a nice question in your classroom of if you met Father Christmas, if you met Mr. Santa, what questions would you ask him? I'm sure you'll come up with so many different varieties. A lovely one to have in your library and library bookshelves and your classroom corner. So another Christmas story for you. This one is by well-known author Julia Donaldson and illustrated by Victoria Sandoy, The Christmas Pine. It brings the story of the Trafalgar Square Christmas tree, but in a way that's brings the magic of Christmas to your pupils. Deep in the snowy woods stands a little pine tree with a special destiny. When it grows up, it's going to be the famous Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square. This is a perfect picture book to snuggle up with and share at Christmas. And its gorgeous atmospheric illustrations whisk you to the frozen forests to the sparkling city square in a beautiful moving story of festivity and hope. Um, so for me, I think this one brings a chance to talk about, other countries, Norway, for example, and this bit of history, this agreement that there was about Norway supplying the Christmas tree for Trafalgar Square. Um, I have a copy here. I just wanted to show you some of the beautiful pages, and it tells it from the voice of the Christmas tree, and it starts in the beautiful forests. These illustrations are really lovely. Um, and it talks about the tree growing up and it knows it's got a destiny and when it reaches the sky and then they come and cut him down and he gets taken across the sea until he's in London. And it's really lovely because it brings bits of London and bits of Christmas in London to the page. It mentions some of the key sites in London, Nelson, and also the Lions. That is a really lovely one here. That's a beautiful image of Christmas. So I think it's a really lovely one to share with your pupils. Really, obviously, really nice for the library shelves, but also in the classroom, um, to talk about, a little bit more about Christmas, another story that's a real story and part of history. Okay, Lunar New Year is next, and it brings the chance to look at new releases. Being published in January 2026 is Logan's Lantern. Logan is very excited about the Big Lantern Festival tonight, and he's made a little dragon lantern to take with him. But when it turns out that the little dragon is afraid of the dark, Logan will need to muster all of his own courage to get them to the festival. Will Logan and his dragons be brave enough to reach the lights and fireworks of a Lunar New Year celebrations? It's a lovely story to complement the Chinese New Year and topics about China and mythology. We've got a little dragon in there. And it'll be published by Bloomsbury. So around the same time of Lunar New Year, we have Ramadan. This book, Ramadan on Rama Road, is wonderfully bringing together the celebration and food around this festival. With recipes to accompany the story, it is another feast of a book. In the houses of Rama Road are people from all around the world. Some are fasting for Ramadan and some are not. But the annual potluck iftar is something they can all attend. And who will miss the grandest, tastiest, most delicious meal of the year? From chicken tikka to roti bomb, each house is planning on bringing something different to share. The result? A feast of food from around the world. Travel from house to house on Rama Road to see what everyone is making. This is making me hungry just talking about it. Imagine the additional activities you could run alongside this book. You could have a massive feast in the library. You can try the different recipes in here, and you can also have a starting point of what food would your children bring to a feast. They could even create that food if they're not cooking it. They could create it out of paper, put it on paper plates, make a display on it, a massive feast for a display on the wall. A really lovely book. So Eyed for Nyla is the next one we've got here. Oh, this is lovely picture book. It looks at the celebration of Eid viewed in different people's houses and all the little bits that bring the festivals together. When Nyla the cat is making her usual visits to the houses in her street, but something is very different today. Families are creating decorations or making food. Some are trying on new clothes and decorating their hands with henna. Everyone is busy and they don't seem to want to her help either. But why does nobody have any time for Nyla? Finally, all is revealed as they come together for a big-eyed celebration where everyone is welcome, especially Nyla. I've got a copy of the book here. Really lovely. Came out this year. And very cute cat, obviously. It's actually quite a lot of pages in this book. It's quite, the story does cover quite a lot. But it has a lovely repetition to it. She goes to each house, she discovers what they're doing. And then obviously they don't have time for her and they say sorry to her. Oh, Nyla, we're all too busy. We don't have time to play right now. Poor Nyla, she goes on to the next house. And she does. She sees the decorations, she sees them painting henna on the hands, and obviously creates some mischief with that, tries to create some mischief and get involved. Um, we see them trying on clothes, see them also making food. Lovely picture of them in the kitchen, one house with all the sugary, crumbly treats. But yeah, it's a really sweet book and takes you through the Eid celebration, wrapping the presents up, and then and then the day of Ida comes, and she wakes up in that morning, and everyone's going, and they say, "Come along, Nyla, we're going to the park," and they have their big celebration in the park, and she's a part of it. A very sweet book. So, for your Key Stage 2 readers, we also have another book about the Eid celebration, Once Upon an Eid. This is a collection of stories from 15 different voices. So Eid, the short single syllable word, conjures up a variety of feelings and memories for Muslims. Maybe it's waking up to the sound of the frying samosas or the comfort of bean pie. Maybe it's the pleasure of putting on a new outfit for Eid prayers. Or maybe it's the gift giving and the holiday parties or carnival rides that come on that day. Whatever it may be, for those who cherish this day of celebration, the emotional response may be summed up in another short and sweet word, joy. It's part story, part graphic novels, part lovely illustrations. It's a beautiful collection about celebrating Eid and great for your older readers. Next, we have another new book to look forward to, actually. This one's being published in February 2026. It's Happy Easter from the Crayons. Yes, the crayons are back. So, these are popular characters in your classroom, I'm sure. There's not many primary school classrooms I've seen where the crayons are not somewhere within that classroom, and the teachers usually love this. So, I think this is going to be a great story. Easter is the perfect time for crayons. They get to learn new shapes and decorate one giant egg together. But where will they hide it? Blue Crayon has some ideas. In a book perfect for Easter baskets or your Easter classroom, the story is sure to make kids and grown-ups giggle as they celebrate together. Sure to inspire some craft projects, I believe, and also another fantastic title for any classroom corner or library. Your pupils will love to see their favourite characters coming back for yet another story. So now moving on to autumn, and yes, we are thinking ahead, aren't we? This one is lovely and is for your upper key stage two readers. So really more for your late year fives and or your year sixes. All Four Quarters of the Moon by Shirley Marr is a story about moving and fitting into a new culture, changes in the family and bonds of friendship, all set around the Mid-Autumn Festival. Everything so far, if Paying had to sum it up, was a string of small, awkward experiences that she hoped would end soon. The night of the Mid-Autumn Festival, making mooncakes with armor, was the last time Paying remembers her life being the same. Now, facing a new home, a new school, and a new language, everything is different. Paying thinks everything is going to turn out okay as long as they all have each other, but cracks are starting to appear in the family. BU, lovable but annoying, needs Payne to be a dependable big sister. Alma keeps forgetting who she is, and Mama and Baba are no longer themselves. Paying has no idea how she's supposed to cope with the uncertainties of her own world while shouldering the burden of everyone's life. If her family are the four quarters of mooncake, where does she fit in? Shirley Marr is an excellent author with previous book, Countdown to the Stars. So this is a lovely book to bring culture and friendship to this time of year together. And next, we're looking at the Day of the Dead celebrations. And this book is part of a series, actually called Celebrations and Festivals, that covers so many celebrations throughout the year. Um, so, Dia de Mortis, why do family fill their homes with marigolds, and what makes sugar skulls such an important part of this celebration? And why is Dia de Mortis a time of joy as well as remembrance? Join little Pancho and his family. They get together for the big day, gathering photos of loved ones, crafting papel picado, and preparing delicious pan de muerto. Along the way, young readers will discover the customs, symbols, and heartfelt messages behind this special holiday, learning how families honor the past while celebrating the present. With a mix of engaging storytelling, fascinating facts, and creative activities, Dia de Muertos is a perfect introduction to this joyful and deeply meaningful tradition. Whether children celebrate the festival or are just discovering it for the first time, this book will immerse them in the magic and inspire them to take part. So great for your key stage ones, and as I said, part of a series of books, and I think we have another one of them in this presentation later on. Moving on to Diwali, this adorable little myth series. This one we have Rama and Sita. So, sure, he was a reincarnated ghost of Vishnu, and she, apologies, reincarnated god Vishnu, and she was a champion archer with super strength. But in lots of other ways, they were just like you. But they grew up, and Sita has been taken by the Demon King, and Rama has to get her back. This is their story. Packed with facts about Hindu mythology, graphic art panels, Little Myths is a perfect series for mythology mad kids. So next we have this picture book about Diwali, the night before Diwali. combines the familiar night before poem with this joyful celebration. 'Twas the night before Diwali, and all through the house rich incense lulled us all to sleep, even the mouse. Join the little boy and his grandmother as they plan the best Diwali ever. There are diyas to light, laddus to roll, and beautiful rangoli pattern to make. Can they get everything ready in time and throw their biggest Diwali celebration yet? I have a copy of this book here. Oh, it's gorgeous. Again, part of a series, beautifully colourful all the way through. If I just give you, that's that opening page where they're asleep in their beds. And the incense has lulled them to sleep. Children were tucked up cozy and snuggled in bed tight, dreaming of dazzling fireworks lighting up the night. And the little boy sneaks downstairs and finds a mama is baking. Really lovely. And so he gets, and so together they work together and they have such a lovely little moment there. Can imagine in the middle of the night. And then we've got some of this lovely artwork here. Let me see. So this I think would be really lovely in the classroom to help create some of those patterns with your pupils. It's lovely and clear and shows exactly how that has been created. It's really lovely to see Rangoli decorating your walls at the time of Diwali. Again, beautiful illustrations throughout. And then the wonderful feast at the end. And also in that series, and I did want to bring this one in too, again, the night before Holi. So wonderful Holi celebrations. And this is, lovely family image there as everyone prepares. This one's about little girl and her grandfather, and they're getting ready for the Holi colour fight. So there's really lovely planning. You could look at doing maps with them about how would you plan, where would you hide, and things like that. And as they prepare, and then obviously you have the big joyful celebration of colour there with the whole family. And it's just lovely. It's really, really lovely. These books just so colourful and beautiful. I think they're both written by Swapna Haddo. Um, and the Diwali one is illustrated by Dashika Varma, and the Holy one is illustrated by Aditi Kakadi Buford. So beautiful, beautiful illustrations. And that's, yeah, so there's a whole series of these books worth looking into. So this leads us to the end of October next year, a time for Halloween and spookiness. It's autumn, and Luna is preparing for a spooktacular Halloween with her family and friends. So join them as and learn more as to how and why it's celebrated. So again, this is part of that celebrations and festivals series that the Dia de Mortos book was. So get into Halloween spirit with celebrations and festivals. Halloween, a beautiful illustrated narrative non-fiction picture book designed for children. This engaging and informative book takes young readers on a colourful journey through the history and significance of Halloween and other related festivals that share the same themes, all told with a gentle, age-appropriateness voice. Meet Luna and her little brother Oliver, their parents and their dog Rafferty, and their little black cat Midnight. Together they get ready for a happy Halloween by visiting a pumpkin patch, navigating a corn maze, and making spooky props to decorate the houses with. Luna has plenty of fun with her friends too, carving jack-o'-lanterns, baking sweet treats, having a Halloween party with festive games, making costumes, going trunk or treating, which is an American version of trick-or-treating where all of the parents park their cars up in the school car park, open the boots, and do trick-or-treating from their boots. Quite fun and quite, unusual. And then they finally do go trick-or-treating on Halloween night. So Halloween doesn't need to be scary. This book helps those who are afraid to understand and demystify the traditions and symbols associated with it so they can join in the fun too. Follow young, relatable characters and their parents as they celebrate the spooky season. Discover the origins of Halloween, how it's evolved into celebrations we have today. Create your own decorations and party pieces, including a pumpkin piñata and spooky cobweb decorations. And also, you can follow the recipes to make some tasty banana ghost pops. So that's a really lovely introduction to Halloween there. As it says, it's about um, making it age appropriate, showing the whole story of where Halloween comes from, but in a way so that, that it helps them if they are fearful or worried about it, helps them understand where it comes from and hopefully allows them to enjoy it. So for your upper key stage two readers again, a brilliantly creepy read. This one is from the renowned Phil Hicks. If you go down to the woods today, you're in for a nasty surprise. Seeking creepy thrills instead of candy, Cody and his friends set out on Halloween to search for the ruins of the haunted McBride house in the woods near his home in Oregon. This house has taken on a sinister legendary status after it burned down 100 years ago with tragic consequences, and it's said that the ghosts of the family who lived there return each year on the last day of October. But when they find the house, the truth of what's happening at this eerie autumn night is more terrifying than the three teenagers could ever have imagined. Ooh, lovely. Nice and spooky. I know that there's plenty of children who do love a good horror book. I was a fan of the point horror books as a child, and it's really delightful to see some of these books in that genre that actually pitched that would be suitable for the upper key stage two children. And finally, combining a number of these wonderful celebrations through the year, spooky celebrations around the world. You've heard of Halloween and maybe Dia de Muertos, but Oban too. But did you know there are spooky festivals all around the world? Across each continent, there are festivals that celebrate and honor spirits. Children will delight in discovering the stories behind these 21 amazing celebrations, with text that captures the joy in many of these festivals and the respectful nature of others, and stunning artwork with fun details to spot. Children will learn all about the interesting ways these festivals are celebrated today. So this will build in children's knowledge of recognizable festivals and introduce them to others they may not have heard of. With playful text that celebrates cultural traditions, this book encourages children to be curious about and respectful of the world around them. It includes lesser known festivals such as the Basler Fasnacht in Switzerland, the Fedgede in Haiti, and Gay Jatra in Nepal, Samhain in Northern Europe, and Setsuban in Japan, among many others. It's a really interesting book for your library shelves, and I'm sure that it will really engross some of those children as they like to learn about all these different ways that spooky things are celebrated. So thank you ever so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed those books. I really enjoyed sharing them with you, and I'm really hoping that some of them made it to your shopping lists in your shopping carts to add to your bookshelves. So thank you very much. If you do have any questions or you'd like more book recommendations or any advice, you can contact the School Library Association team on info@sla.org.uk. It's been lovely to see you. Thank you.